Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about WPL upgrades. What ones are worth doing? What ones aren't? I don't know. Let's find out. So, we're going to go over the upgrades I have on them. This truck, I have the WPL Dual Speed 370 Gearbox. It offers a selectable gear change, so you have a low range for crawling, and a high range for moving spot to spot or just driving down the trail. Metal axles hold up a lot better than the plastic axles and heavier for added weight. We also got adjustable metal links. Adds a little bit of weight down low, which helps. It gives you some adjustability if you need it. Also, the metal axle trusses offer a little bit more weight down low, plus they don't break. Some of the stock plastic ones end up breaking if you crash it too hard. Surpass brand servos like this, that's what I would recommend putting in these. This is set up for a axle mounted steering servo, but it's the same servo that would just go in place in a normal spot right where we got this WPL one. But a great upgrade is the Surpass metal geared servos. Other great upgrades for the WPL trucks are the RES V3 sound system and controller. It's an all-in-one deal. Let's grab another one. It's not in the package, but it's really cool. Offers you winch control, shifting gears on your dual speed from low range to high range, and your speaker, because the RES V3 sound system has a sound system attached to it. So you got a little speaker. It comes in two choices of petro, which is gasoline for us in the United States, petro for the rest of the world, and a diesel sound. They both sound really good. The diesel sound has air brakes, so you wouldn't want to put it on just like a normal little truck. It would be more set up for a bigger truck that has air brakes in real life. Another really cool modification is the winch to go with your V3 system. The winch is available from an official store with slight modifications. It does fit into multiple of the WPL trucks, including the C54 that we have here. And that brings us into some other really cool upgrades that you can do on these things. We got these 3D printed lower control arms. Your link bars. On this one I just have a plastic axle, so I don't really have the issue. But the metal axle ones, I'll pull this up, turn a long ways. The metal axles allow you to turn a long ways, and as you can see on here, an issue you can have with it turning all the way is it can hit these links. But that can be eliminated with this style thing. You could turn it in all the way and it's not going to hit. We can just pretend that it turns a long ways and yank that sideways farther than it actually can turn, and it gives you all the clearance you need. That's really cool. It's a cool purchase. If I can find them, again, I'll put a link in the description. There's a RES V3 in there. You can also get little drivers to make it look more realistic. Sorry that this thing's so dirty. I don't know if you can see in the back, we have a horrible reflection going on. But we got a little WPL box in there. A little mini kit. I guess these two are going to go put that together when they get back. Other good upgrades for crawling is the WPL Wheel Weights. You got some heavy weights that you put on your wheels and in your tires. The trucks I have metal axles on have weighted wheels. This has weights in here This is the WPL 370 single speed gearbox, which gives you excellent clearance. Pretty neat. You can get that from the official store. I had to replace the motor, as many of you know. We won't go into that in this video, but the gearbox itself is really cool. That's both the dual speed and the single speed 370 gearboxes themselves are really good. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, onto these. These are Mn90 tires that have WPO wheels. So this is just a standard WPO wheel with a 3D printed adapter from Bantam Engineering to fit the Mn90 tires. Normally, the Mn90 tires come on these wheels, where it's the small sides on the front, big sides on the back. In case you didn't know, the Mn90 tires just have the standard size on one side, large size on the other. So what these 3D printed adapters allow you to do is you have your standard WPO wheel, and it puts the adapter on the outside, so you can have the big side on the outside, just like that. I hope you followed along there. It's really cool. That's also available from Bantam Engineering. I have a link below, like the rest of this good stuff. For more clearance, I trimmed the front bumper and the wheel opening to give me a little bit more flexibility in there. This is running a Surpass 25G servo because it's on a C34 C44 frame with the C14 body. Other great mods are you can get carbon fiber roof racks, and now offering a carbon fiber bed insert. We'll pull it up here and just set it on here. I do not have it installed yet, as you can see, because I'm holding it in my hand. But you can replace this little stamped tin thing with a carbon fiber piece. Nice, lightweight, strong, looks really cool. Nice little upgrade. I like to always have a... Oh no, my doggy had a rollover. But anyways, I like these little dogs. You can get them on Amazon. Looks pretty cool. I forget the name of them. Hood hounds, maybe? They're from like the other ones that came with them, little homies from the little quarter machines, if you remember those. But yeah, got some hood hounds in there. Another great upgrade for the WPL trucks is your Gen X batteries. They offer a few different styles that fit. We got this 1000 milliamp hour, and it has the I think it's a JST, but it's the red connector. And then they also offer the 1600 milliamp hour that comes with this connector that's more commonly found on WPL trucks. But with this connector, you can plug that right into that black style. Just make sure you have your red and black lined up right, so you don't fry nothing. Stepping over here with some more Bantam Engineering upgrades. Right here, we have a full carbon fiber frame that allows you a lot of adjustability. You can raise your gearbox, lower your gearbox. These are separate pieces on here. I don't know if you can tell because it's all fit together so good, but it allows you to lift it up if you want. And when you lift it up, there's also these carbon fiber pieces down here that allow you different spots. You could have it up in the stock location, here or here, to give you adjustability. So that works really good. It's a little bit lighter than the steel frame, but that's not really what we're after here. We're after really cool looks and the functionality of being able to lift your truck and mount stuff in different spots. Definitely plenty of mounting spots. On here you could mount your shock in any of these locations on there, if my camera will focus. So that's pretty cool. On here we got these big chrome wheels and tires. These look cool. They're not really that functional. They do have some flex and stuff, but they don't grip up the best. You could take some weights, some stick-on wheel weights from automotive wheels, and you could probably take this off and line it with some automotive weights in there, and you'd have a nice weighted wheel. They are fairly soft, not quite WPL kit tire soft. And speaking of WPL kit tires, that's another great upgrade for these, is to get the softer kit tire, nice and soft and grip up. This one's pretty dirty, but you can see how tore up it is from climbing because it's such a soft compound. Works really good. I like them. These are the V1 tires. I also have V4 tires that I really like. I don't have those out here right now. Here's an example of the V2 tires. These also work pretty good, but go up to these tires right here. So if you don't have kit tires and you want to make your ready to run tires, which ready to run tires are a harder compound, you want to use those, you can go through and cut out every other lug to give it a little bit more grip on stuff. You can also like with a paintbrush, you could paint on WD-40, or you could soak them in WD-40, and that will soften up the compound. It does something with the rubber where it makes it expand, and the molecules aren't as close together, so it makes it softer and stickier. It actually works pretty good, but after a while they do harden back up. These are the V2 wheels, which would come on the B36, and they come with these tires normally. I had these tires laying around. These have the WPO Wheel Weights in them to kind of keep this thing on the ground a little bit better. This also has the RES V3 system in it with the dual speed. I don't know if I have a battery in it, but we'll see. Turn that on, turn this on, press the button. You can kind of hear the diesel sound. Give it some gas. Or actually, before I give it gas, we'll turn. Oh, never mind. Give it a second to shut off. A nice little shutdown thing. But with it off, or when the sound goes off, if you turn your controller, it has a blinker sound. Pretty cool. It also offers you the ability to have blinker lights. So on this, I don't have any of the lights hooked up, but I got all kinds of wires, all kinds of lights with wires going to them. It's just not hooked up to the V3 system. But they'll have blinkers when you turn. It's got reverse lights, headlights. Pretty cool. This is the diesel sound, so we'll do a startup on this. Nice little air brake sound. So that adds we'll turn this off. That adds a whole new level of enjoyment to these when you're out playing around, going for a little trail ride. It's nice to be able to have a little sound, and I don't know. I guess if you're pretending it's a real truck, it's pretty neat. I enjoy the sound. Makes it a little bit more enjoyable. When doing the sound, you can install these resistors onto the motor. This probably isn't the best example of how to do it, but that stops the motor and electronics from interfering with the speaker. Another great upgrade is metal drive shafts. That's a must-have. It's definitely metal drive shafts. The plastic ones are good for a while and they last, but they pop apart and then they end up wearing out and coming apart. And here we still have all plastic axles and got the plastic center drive shaft. Never really had a problem with the rear ones giving out, but the mid shaft on the 6x6s, the plastic one likes to break or pop off if you're on carpet and you're trying to turn because you got all four of these tires locked together. Common sense says something's got to give, and it's the plastic piece that gives. And if you don't already, you're going to want to get a balance charger. The USB chargers are fine for a little while, but it's best to upgrade and get yourself a cheap little balance charger. I like this one. You know what I mean? I can't say this is the best one or the worst one. I don't have any complaints about it. It works really good. I like it. Some other neat upgrades you can do to these is this single speed gearbox from AliExpress. It comes with a reduction box, and this is a WPL 370 motor from the WPL 370 single speed that I swapped onto here to do a little testing. So that doesn't come with it, but you'd have your reduction box, this, and that black motor with that blue heat shield comes on there. It seems like a fairly quality product. You're going to want to take it apart and grease it. I've been using the motor on the other one. I really liked the motor. Looked in here. I can't see any complaints I would have about it, except for it does hang down a little bit of ground clearance issue there. We got our Bantam Engineering drop links on here. Another cool upgrade to do to these is Feye Axles. So right here is a Feye Axle. It looks just like a WPL axle, except for on the end. I guess since we have wheels on there, you can't see. So I'm going to reach over here, because I got a stockpile of them, and I grabbed a WPL axle. Just give me 1 second. Okay, here's the Feye Axles. Ordered these. These are pretty cool. So they're plastic axles, come with brass bushings and brass ring and pinion. So that works really good. But that's not the best part about them. Is some of the Feyes come with tracks on them. And so if you get the axles from the ones with the tracks, they have a square end. I know I'm not doing the greatest job of showing it here, but anyways, this is WPL axle. It's round at the end. Versus this has this rectangle. What that rectangle is used for is these adapters that go on here. So it would go on here, and I guess we'll take that off. That's got a rectangle, that's got a rectangle. So this fits on. Doing this one-handed while holding the phone in the other hand, but that snaps on there like that. And you may be asking, okay, what does that do? Well, that allows you to run these snow tracks. And if you're just to put it on a normal WPL axle and it's round, it could just spin around. With the Feye axles, it's now will be locked in place. So we could take this and put this on here. Boop. Pull that off. Got the adapter. So now it doesn't spin around, and you could have tracks on your WPL. You can also take those adapters that I showed you that is now stuck into the track, and you can take that and you can hot glue it onto the axles. These are Feye's. This is WPL. You could take that spacer and you could kind of hot glue it on to the fronts, and then on the back, I got too many trucks. I don't know where they're all at. Oh, buried. Anyways, on the back, you take that spacer and you can also glue it on the WPL axles, but on the back, if you're putting on a WPL axle, you spin it around backwards and it serves the same purpose. But it also, it's on the end of the axle, so it's holding the axle tube together. Unlike the standard WPL axles, like this. So that's just a plastic axle, and it doesn't have that Feye end on it. Well, watch what happens if I put a lot of tension on. It opens up the axle tubing and makes it expand and not be as tight. So I think a good upgrade for these would be to put that Feye thing on there, or get something around here to hold the end of the axle on tight so that don't pull apart and separate. And a proof of concept, I guess, on that being a good thing is WPL metal axles come with a piece like that keep it from separating apart. So obviously that's a good upgrade. You can also run stainless steel ring and pinions in these. A little bit more difficult to get the mesh and everything right because they don't have much give, as the brass ones are really soft, and you can the brass ones you fit together tight and kind of run it and they loosen up and just clean it out and grease it. But stainless steel ones work pretty good. Sorry I keep jumping around on the video, but I just found one of the Fey Rear Axles, and you can see how it is, it has this square thing on it, locking it together, so it can't pull apart. I think that's very nice. Definitely a good upgrade. I get these on AliExpress for cheap, like really cheap. I forget how much it is, but it's like $8 for a set for front and rear. Pretty good because it got the brass bushings, brass ring and pinion, the clamps on the end holding it together. The mesh comes perfect. You don't have to worry about remeshing them or anything like that. So that's really cool. I was actually looking for my stainless steel ring and pinions that I have no idea where they are. I got stockpiles of a lot of stuff around here. But yeah, I don't know where that's at. So if you want to go fast, a great upgrade would be this wpl-rc 52,000 RPM motor. It says it's 52,000 RPM, and it says it's a 6-volt motor. And I guess at 7.4 volts, I was told, it runs 52,000 RPMs. You take this, run it on a 3S lipo in the dual speed, and it goes in between 11 and 13 miles per hour. I think it was 11 miles per hour I did, which is it's pretty fast for these little WPL trucks. It's hard to control. You just try to turn it and it's tumbling. But yeah, that's a pretty cool upgrade. On this, I didn't change the pinions out, so it wasn't lining up right. So it was only halfway on the gear, and it's got plastic gears, and I ended up stripping out the plastic gears. Wasn't really a surprise. I seen it wasn't fitting in there right. To do it proper, you'd want to swap the output gear from a WPL 370 motor and put it on. The RBRC one is shorter, so it's back here. It wasn't riding on all the gear. Stripped out half the gear. That's no surprise. Which brings us to our next great upgrade. Would be I ordered the metal gears for the WPL dual speed. So it's all metal gears go inside, and they won't strip out like the plastic ones, which I have never had a problem with proper use of the plastic gears in the WPL dual speed. and I'm hard on them. I do wheelies and climb them, and not really easy on them, but I've never had an issue with any of the gears until this, and I put it in, and I seen it wasn't going to work. But somebody said it was going to work, so I just put it together knowing it wasn't going to work, and it broke. Big surprise. I guess I should have listened to myself, but I didn't really care because I was ordering metal gears anyways. Here are the WPL V4 wheels and tires that I was telling you about earlier. We have them on this C24-1. And since we were talking about the Feye stuff earlier, this has a Feye 180 motor and gearbox, which is quite fast. I don't know all the differences, but it has a little bit different gearing than the WPL, and the motor spins more RPMs from what I can tell. But it still has good low end power. It's just has good low end power, but it's geared kind of high. So it's not the best for crawling, but it's fast, and I end up breaking a lot of drive shafts and pinions with it. Which brings us back to our plastic drive shaft thing. Is you can see here how the plastic drive shafts end up wearing out with use, because it's plastic on plastic and it gets hot. But this the Feye 180 swap, it's not super straightforward because you have to use the Feye tray. And since the Feye motor is slightly longer than the WPL motor, which I'll see if I can find another truck that has that to give you a better example. Like, how can I not find my trucks? I may have a problem with too many WPLs. Well, we'll be right back. Hang tight. Okay, we found it. Anyways, the Feye rear output shaft is longer than the WPL because it's so close. I'm trying to get in here. Sorry about that. It's so close to the motor that if it was any shorter, your drive shaft would hit the motor. So they extended it out a little bit, which that's fine on the Feyes because they have a slightly longer wheelbase. But when you go putting it in a WPL with the shorter wheelbase, and this is sticking out further, how I compensated for that is I moved this tray. I put new holes and I trimmed out back here for the links, but I moved it forward and split the difference, because before it had a normal front drive shaft and it would need a really short rear drive shaft. So what we did is we just moved the holes in this plastic tray and centered it and took these plastic drive shafts and just shortened them. Take that, take them apart, grind it down shorter, and then the piece that goes inside it, just grind it down shorter, and it's really pretty easy. But you're stuck with running the plastic drive shafts, and with the high-speed motor in there on a 3S lipo battery, it'll actually melt the drive shaft sometime if you just kind of stay in it too long. But it's still fun. Another one of our little WPL boxes. Must be the new mini WPL. Some other upgrades you can do is with the razor blade, do a cracked windshield. Do little details. You can also take a lighter to them, heat them up, and adjust the body in a little bit. See if we can get some good shots here. This has got a kind of smashed the door in a little bit in spots. I forget, but then like right here kind of made it look chewed up and deformed. It's really hard to see on the camera, but we got a dent in the roof. Must have had a little rollover. You can do it's a pretty simple trick. The windshield wiper mud is how you do this. I don't even have to show you. I can just tell you. Is mess my windshield wiper up there. But just kind of put tape over your whole windshield, and then take your windshield wiper and kind of run it across it and follow the line that it follows with like a pen and draw that out, and then leave this part where you want it clear covered with your tape, and then uncover the rest, and then just give it a couple sprays with a couple brown paints, make it look like mud, and then pretty simple mod. Looks professional, and it was super easy. Well, I'm not saying that this one looks professional, but I think you can make yours look professional if you try hard enough. I got in a hurry. It was the first time trying it, and I don't really care if people don't like it. But it's an easy mod. Looks really cool. You can also you can cut the hoods off these. I don't have any that have the hoods cut off, but just go with an X-Acto knife or a razor blade multiple times over the creases on the sides, on the back, and you can end up making it so the hood comes off, and you can do whatever you want under there. Then just glue on some magnets to both this and underneath, and boop, be held on with magnets. Okay, this is a long video. I hope you're still watching, because we're actually got some good upgrades. So on the metal axles, they have this little U-joint in there. Trying to get a good shot of it so you can see. Well, the pins on these come out. So you can take a piece of heat shrink and let my camera focus. Put a piece of heat shrink on there. Heat shrink it on. It doesn't allow any of the pins to fall out and lose them. That's pretty cool. Another great mod would be installing the axle mounted servo. That would eliminate all bump steer, because I don't know if you can. I guess I got this one set up pretty good so it don't have bump steer, but a lot of times you'll run into an issue with bump steer. You can eliminate that with the axle mounted servo. Another place for the heat shrink or some tape would be around on the metal axles. You can see I have it on here, and this will keep this clip from getting caught on something, because all it's holding the pin in is this clip. So you run over something, catch it on there, boom, pulls that off, you lose your pin. It's such a small pin that I can guarantee you're not going to find it on the trail. So then you're going to have to go to the hardware store and fab up a new pin and try to make it work, or just order all new metal drive shafts, which you don't want to do that. So just make sure that you got your